Welcome to the lesson 10 video. This is going to be a review for your test. So what's on the screen right now is your warm-up questions. You should pause the video and work those out. When you're done, unpause and see how you did. So 0.25 as a percent is 25%. The next one they've already done for you. We've got 0.20, that's what 20% is, and 0.60 is 60%. If we're filling in the missing pattern, we can see that we're going up by 5 each time in this first one. That was an atrocious error. Let me fix that. Okay, we're constantly just going up by 5, so this is going to be a 35. This is going to be a 65. For number 2, if we're going to the right, we're going up 3, which means if we're going to the left, we're going down 3. So this should be a 21, a 30, and a 42. Number 3, we're going up by 2s. And number 4, we're going up by 6s. So we should have 30 and 48. All right, so like I said, this is a review for the test. So for all of these problems, you should be able to pause the video and answer the question before I get done with the answer. That would be a great way for you to see if you're actually doing them right, almost getting instantaneous feedback on if it's correct or incorrect, or if there's a certain mistake that you made and that is easy to fix. So that's something you can do. Pause the video, work out each problem, unpause it, and make sure that you got the same answer. If you do not get the same answer, make sure that you go back and fix your mistake and figure out why you got the answer wrong so that you don't make that mistake in the future. All right, so for on these problems, I always have N be my box number and then C be my number of circles. So box 1 has 5 circles, box 2 has 10, 3 has 15, 4 has 20, 5 has 25, and box 6 has 30. So my algebraic pattern, I'm ending at C, so I'm going to have C equals. In order to get from 1 to 5, 2 to 10, 3 to 15, I'm multiplying by 5, so I'm going to have 5n, or n times 5. All right, and then how many circles will be in the 20th box? Well, that means n equals 20, so C would equal 20 times 5. There would be 100 circles. This next one here, I know right away that it's not going to be multiplication because in box 1 I have 0, and in box 2 I have 1. So it's not going to be multiplying by anything because the only way to multiply to get 0 is just one of the things is 0. So box 3 has 2, box 4 has 3, box 5 has 4. So if I'm not multiplying, in order to get from 1 to 0, I have to subtract 1, and that's going to be the same pattern for all of these. So I'm going to have C is equal to n minus 1. So again, when n is 20, I'm going to get, in this case, that C equals 19. So there'll be 19 circles in the 20th box. I didn't on the last one, but I should at least label number of circles. So now when we're finding the algebraic equation for each table, I'm going to use an x for my input and a y for my output in both of these problems. So when I put in 45, I get out 5. So I'm going to end up with a y equals something. That's what we want to get to. So in order to get from 45 to 5, I could subtract 40 or I could divide by 9. Well, if I do 36 to 4, I can't be subtracting 40, but that's dividing by 9. 1 divided by 9 is 1/9. 9 divided by 1, or 9 divided by 9 is 1. So I'm going to say that what I'm doing is taking my input value divided by 9. You could write this like this as well. Either one of those is perfectly fine. For the number 4 here, I'm going to be either adding 50 or multiplying by 2. Well, that's going to be adding 50. It's easier to see probably with these last two that we're adding 50, so y is equal to x plus 50. Again, I know I'm going through some of these a little bit quicker, but these are all review things. None of this should be new. Pause the video to check if you got answers right or wrong as you go. All right, so number 5, Aero Tires offers a weekend discount on oil changes to its loyal customers. The usual price for an oil change is $40, but will be $30 for this weekend only. The oil change is on sale for what percent off? So it's important that I notice I'm asking for the percent off. So I'm going to want to have the change over the original price equals the percent out of 100. I know the original price is 40. The change is not 30. I went from 40 to 30. 40 minus 30 is 10, so my change is 10. And I'm asking for the percent, so I'm going to put a variable there, x over 100. All right, I can divide by 4 to get that x equals 25. So the oil change is on sale for 25% off. If you did not put the change, if you did not put 10 in, instead you put 30, what you found was not the percent off, that was the percentage of the original cost that was still being charged. So I refer to that as percent on, not the percent off. Number 6, there hasn't been any rain or snow in a particular part of California for years. About 10 years ago, a lake in that region was 60 feet deep. Now it's only 48 feet deep. By what percent has the water level of the lake dropped? So this is just like that last question, pretty much identical. So my original depth was 60 feet, and now it's 48 feet. So I need to take 60 minus 48, which is going to be 12. And I'm asking for the percent change. How much did it decrease? So my variable is x over 100. Now you could do this a few different ways. I know that 12 goes into 65 times. Maybe you don't know that quite as easily. So you could simplify this fraction. Okay, I know that 12 is divisible by 6. I know that 60 is divisible by 6 as well. Well, that's going to be a little bit easier to multiply horizontally to get x equals 20. All right, so the water level has dropped 20% would be my sentence. Again, make sure it's important to note what is being asked. It's what percent has the water level dropped. So I'm asking for the percent change. So make sure you use the change over the original. And number 7, the Stanwood Forest is 88 square acres. There was a fire in July and 20 square acres of the forest were burned. Well, what percent of the forest was burned in the fire? All right, so we don't have to ask for a change here because it's just saying this is the amount that was burned, and I want to know the percent that was burned. So I'm going to have 20 over 80 is equal to x over 100. I can multiply by 4 here, which means I should have gone the other direction since I'm trying to find x. So I'm going to divide by 4. 100 divided by 4 is 25. So 25% of the forest was burned. Number 8, last year the Indiana Hawks won 16 games. This year they won 20. What was the percent increase in their winning games over the last year? So percent increase is the change. So again, I'm going to do a change over original. So 20 games minus 16. I know 16 is the original, but I just need to figure out the difference in the amount of games that they won. So they won 4 more games. Originally they won 16. Okay, this is the original. It's important that we use original, not the biggest now, not 20. And we're asking for the percent change, so I'm going to put x. I'm going to divide by 4 again to get x equals 25. The percent increase in their winning games was 25%, or they won 25% more games. There's another way to say that. The most common mistake here is going to be putting 20 right here. 16 is the original. We always go over the original, not the biggest number. Number 9, prices are going up for gold necklaces. That's because the price of gold has gone up over the last year. A 24-karat ring last year cost $600. This year it costs $750. What is the percent increase? Again, we are still going over the original. The original cost is $600. We're asking for percent out of 100. We're asking for the percent increase, so the change. So I know that 750 minus 600 is 150. So I'm going to put 150 here. Notice if you did 600, the original, minus the new cost, you would actually have negative 150. Okay, those are technically different numbers. I did it this way because I know I need a positive number because I'm getting a bigger value. It's going up a certain amount. All right, now, anytime that we have two numbers ending in a 0 and a fraction, I just kind of simplify that out a little bit, divide top and bottom by 10, give myself nicer numbers. In this case, still not maybe the nicest number for us, so I could divide these by 5 and simplify to get 3 over 12, and I could simplify that even further to get 1 over 4. All right, I'd be multiplying by 25 to get x equals 25. So what is the percent increase in the price of the same gold ring? The gold ring's price increased 25%. Number 10, we've got a table now. It says there's been very little rain in California where crops are grown. Farmers are paying more for water and their costs are passed on to the grocery stores. This table shows changes in the last month for food prices. Which food, almonds or oranges, had a greater percent increase from 2014 to 2015? So what this is asking us is to find the percent increase of two different things and then compare them. So your answer is not going to be their percent increase was this. You need to say this almonds or oranges, whatever it ends up being, had a greater percent increase. So I'm going to start in one spot, and I'm going to make a little note saying I'm solving for almonds. All right. I'm asking for the percent increase, so I'm doing change over original. Well, almonds, since I'm doing it in red, I'll highlight in red. Went from $20 to $25. That is a change of $5 with the original cost of 20 equals x out of 100. All right, you could divide by 4, you could multiply by 5. Doesn't really matter. We're going to get x equals 25. So that's 25% change for almonds. Now I'm going to do the same thing with oranges. Say this is what I'm solving for. Oranges, since I'm using green, I'll use green. Their cost went up $3 with the original of 5. And I'm not going to use x because I've already used x in this problem, so I'm going to use y. You could use a different letter if you want to. Please never use o as a variable. It looks like a 0. This one I'm going to have to multiply by 20 to give me y is equal to 60. So which food, almonds or oranges, had a greater percent increase? Well, 60 is bigger than 25. I made sure I labeled my thing so I know that 60 is representative of oranges. So oranges had a greater percent increase in price. I could do this same question and ask for which one had the lower percent increase. It'd be the opposite answer. So it's important that you identify which thing you're solving for, solve for it, and then compare the two numbers. All right, number 11, Starbucks does a lot of business during the day. The table below shows the average number of customers at different times of the day. Use this information to answer the questions below. What is the percent decrease from 8 a.m. through 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. through noon? So notice 8 a.m. through 10 a.m. is just saying this window, because we can't say at 10 a.m. because not all of your customers are going to show up at 10 a.m., for example. And then 10 a.m. through noon would be the following one. So my original is where I started. That's going to be the yellow. That's the 70. And I'm asking for the percent decrease. Well, I take 70 minus 56. That gives me 14. So my change is 14. My original is 70. And I'm asking for the percent change. Now for this one, I don't have a nice horizontal or vertical method, but I know that this is divisible by 7, and so is that. And then that gives me a nice horizontal method, nice vertical method too, for what it's worth. So x equals 20. There was a 20% decrease. As always, make sure you are using the correct words. If you use decrease instead of increase, or vice versa, depending on the problem, that changes the answer. Okay? Decrease means we're getting smaller. Increase means it's getting bigger. In 2010, there were 50 earthquakes recorded. There were 40% more than next year. How many earthquakes were recorded? So this is a problem that I'm going to do two different ways because there are two different very similar ways to solve this. So if there were 40% more earthquakes next year, that means original was 50. 40% more is a change. So I'm finding the number of earthquakes, number of more earthquakes. Well, divide by 2. You get x equals 20. Okay, I'm going to stop at that point, do the other method, and then I'm going to write my answer, and we're going to see if we get the same thing. So I'll kind of split it like this. So if I'm saying there were 40% more, this is where we can be a little bit kind of tricky. I'm going to put a y because I'm not finding the same thing in this case. If there were 40% more than 100 would be 140%. All right. I can still divide by 2 going across to get y equals 70. But what I actually found with y is the total number. All right, the total number of earthquakes in 2011, and x just told me how many more earthquakes we had in 2011 than in 2010. So for the method on the left, I would have to do 50 plus 20 equals 70, which is what I got over here on the right. So for both ways, we could say there were 70 earthquakes in 2011. All right. Make sure you are getting ready to take this test so that when you do take it, that you do very, very well. And I hope everybody has a great day.